Hi everybody, my name's Kingnusmi. About a month ago, I asked you guys to send me some of your scariest stories. Whether it's paranormal or not, let me hear them. And then I forgot to make a video on it. Yeah, I'm pretty bad about that. But it's okay, I didn't completely forget because I remembered just a couple of days ago that I have to do this. So I went back to that post and I checked out and it seems like 100 of you guys sent comments. Thank you for that, that's crazy. But sadly, I can't read 100 comments, I'll be here all day. So I just chose 10 of them to read. And if your comment isn't in this video, I apologize, I'm sorry. If you guys like this one as much as you like the other one, I can't speak right now. If you guys like this one, oh my god. But if you guys like this one as much as you like the other one, then I'll probably do it again. So if your comment isn't on this, you could just copy it from the last post or send it to me directly, I guess. I don't know. I might see it better if you send it to me. Please don't. Actually, don't do that. I lied. Don't do that, please. This first one comes from my boy, Spud Gonzo, the guy that helped me get through the Horrorland game on live stream.
This way.
What does this way mean?
No, wrong way.
No! Ah! This way is left. Bro, I straight died. He writes, in 2009, my mom and I went to a Barnes & Noble. While she was looking around, I went on my own and stumbled across a bunch of activity books, crosswords, Sudoku, word searches, etc. I heard my mom yelling from the cashier line, so I quickly grabbed a word search book, not even looking at the title or anything. Bought it and we went home. Earlier that day, my dad went over to his brother John's house. He hadn't heard from him in 4 days, and this wasn't like him. Turns out he passed away from a heart attack. Later that night, me, my mom, my dad were all sitting quietly in the living room. Very few lights are on, no noises, just a very depressed state. I was sitting on the couch across from them, and next to me is this word search book that I got earlier. And for the first time, I actually took a look at the cover. A silhouette of a rubber duck with a word search inside of it, and that's when I noticed the single phrase circled on the cover. My jaw dropped and I screamed to my father, "Dad, come see this right now! Come here!" I thought I had seen a ghost. Running into the kitchen, I threw the lights on, and as it beamed down on the book, my dad at my side, we stared at each other as we both acknowledged the book's cover with the silhouette of the duck and the phrase circled in its word search spelled out, Uncle John. That's weird as hell. I guess John is a pretty common name, but why did it say uncle? That's strange as hell. What the fuck? I mean, it could just be an insane coincidence. That's probably what it was, but what if it was someone trying to send you a message? Go check on your Uncle John. That's pretty freaky. It's pretty eerie. Good story. Good story, Spud Gonzo, my guy. Okay, this next story is from Dr. 3A07. Since I was quite young at the time, I honestly don't remember much of the haunting, but I do have a few vivid memories that stuck with me. One particular incident that stands out was the night that I am 90% sure my aunt got possessed. On this night, we both fell asleep on the living room couch, and my mom was just getting home from her shift as a security guard. It was late, probably around 3 or 4 a.m., maybe even later, and I remember my mom picking me up off the couch, which woke me up, and as she reached for my aunt to carry her to bed, my aunt suddenly slipped from my mom's arms and began to crawl on all fours towards the heater at the entrance of the hallway incredibly quickly. What if she was just cold, man? She's a little chilly. She's a little chilly. You know like the state you're in when you're like kind of sleepy and like your arms and legs are still numb? What if she was just having that and she's a little cold? She's like, I need warmth. I mean, I do that every once in a while, right? Don't we all? Why is my desk so high up? That's better. For a brief moment, she just stared at us before she darted down the hallway, still on all fours, turning into my grandma's room, and after a few seconds, my mom followed her, only to discover that my aunt was peacefully asleep next to my grandma. And after seeing this, my mom just took me to our room and we went to sleep like nothing happened. How do you do that? How do you just go to sleep like nothing happened? I'd call up my nearest preacher. I'd be like, oh, hold on. Hey, beep, 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 beep. Hello, I'd like an exorcist, please. It's insane. I don't think I would just brush that off, you know? I guess, what can you do in that moment? You'd be like, okay, I got to bed now. The image of my aunt crawling down that hallway has forever burdened my mind. I bet, dude. Holy crap. The unnatural speed and movement were honestly chilling. I'm getting goosebumps just remembering it, the way she scattered down that hallway. Also, I want to note, that's not something she had ever done before. The way she moved, in my opinion, was very unusual. But I was also like 6.5 awake, so honestly, who really knows? It would be stranger if that was something that she commonly did. I just want to point that out. That's a good story. That's really freaky. I don't think I've ever witnessed a family member or something get possessed. I don't know what I'd do in that situation. What do you do in that situation? Besides call a priest or something, I don't even know. Actually, they're not even allowed to give exorcisms anymore. Do you know that? That's pretty crazy. We just got demons everywhere. There's just demons everywhere. We can't do nothing about it. No, that's a great story. What was your name, Mr. Third story of today, Lashak 1041. They write, I have a few really creepy stories for myself and family, but this is probably one of the creepiest that happened to me. When I was 9 years old, my grandfather, who was something of a father figure to me, was dying of colon cancer and was put in a nursing facility of a local hospital. We were becoming very destroyed as a family, and both my parents were taking it out on each other and me and my sister. That's fucked up. Anyways, my dad had a really tight schedule with his job, so this time we went to visit alone with my mom. The day this event happened was particularly depressing. It was a holiday and raining, so most of the town was empty. My mom, because of this, decided to take us to a local park about 4 miles away from the nursing facility, not wanting me and my sister to be stuck inside all day long. But it's raining. If it's raining, you should be stuck. I mean, unless it's a break in the rain, I don't know. I feel like it's okay if it's raining outside to be stuck inside for a little bit. The park was completely empty. It was a very large grassy park with a tennis court and 2 playgrounds on either side with a single large playground in the middle. My mom decided to go to the one in the middle of the park. And for context, the other side of the park is blocked from view, and it was especially hard to see long distances due to the misty weather. So for a little while, me and my sister were just playing at this park and using the time to escape from our despair our family was feeling during that time. But after a while, I noticed my mom grew slightly uncomfortable at something in the distance. I look at what it is, and a little past the tennis court, a middle-aged man was standing there. The person was wearing all black and had tinted sunglasses on. He was also not really on the sidewalk or a path. It was just kind of standing awkwardly in the middle of a field watching us. The man was also holding a black bag, which even as a naive little child, I thought was a little strange. I went back to playing with my sister, but I would occasionally look at the person in black, and I started to notice that he was walking closer to us while still staring at us, which I thought was weird even back then. I mean, it is odd behavior. I would think it was weird as a child too. I started to get really nervous, and I increasingly noticed my mom getting more distressed. As the person came close to us and more in view, I realized he wasn't just looking at us, but he was particularly focused on my younger sister, who was not aware of his existence. Once my mom made eye contact with him, he started to smile one of the most creepy stranger danger smiles I had ever witnessed in my life. This is when my mom decided to grab both of our hands and noped the fuck out of there. About dang time. I would have noped the fuck out of there when he was walking towards us. But as we were leaving the park, the guy began to follow us at a steady pace and also began fiddling with his black bag. Once we reached the park exit, my mom looked back at the guy, which resulted in her quickening her pace because he seemed to be following us quickly behind. We continued down the block. My mom was desperately looking for anyone in sight, but since it was a holiday, there was just a lonely street with us and this creep following us. We eventually found an intersection where there was an opening sandwich. What? Yummy. I think it'd be like open sandwich shop. We eventually found an intersection where there was an open sandwich shop, and by this point I could see the guy had slowed down, realizing that he couldn't do anything without being seen. My mom immediately broke down into tears once the guy in black was out of our sight. And to this day, I am forever grateful that my mom decided to not stay another second, because I legitimately believe I probably would not be here to write this down if she did. I'm still horrified at the thought of what that guy had in store for us. And by the look on his face, it wasn't anything good. That is pretty creepy. I do say all the time, people are scarier than anything supernatural, paranormal, ghosts, or anything. Because people are real, and we know they're real. We don't really know if ghosts are real or not. I hate to break it to a lot of you guys, but we don't really know that. Really eerie story. I would hate having anybody follow me. I hate the day when that probably will happen to me. It probably has happened to me, and I just didn't notice because I'm oblivious to the world. Great story, Lashak. It's really good. Really creepy. We've all seen a YouTube video that was like top 10 creepiest Ring doorbell videos or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. We've all seen them. Don't act like you haven't seen it. You watch that slop. I do too. I love it. All right, this next one also comes from a longtime fan, AvaPhantom's 9993. I don't have anything that I can recall, but I remember a creepy story that our English teacher in Colombia, the equivalent of a Spanish teacher, he told us this very creepy paranormal story of his childhood. When he was a kid, he and his friends would hang out a lot. His friend's father was a gambler or a business guy. I can't remember. That's too big. That's a big difference. It's a gambler or a business guy. One's in Vegas, one's on Wall Street. You got to make up your mind. But he always needed luck for deals or games. So he talked with a mage? He talked with a mage or some expert that they're, what? A legit, like, wizard mage? Is that one? What? So he talked with a mage or some expert as there was this very weird belief that bones, yes, real life bones, could bring someone luck. My professor told us that apparently his friend's dad got kid bones or a bone of a kid. Either way, this is super creepy. And it did bring him luck. Our professor said or theorized that having bones of the dead was a way to anger the restless spirits, mentioning that depending on their age, the damage could be major or minor. And well, his friend's dad learned it the hard way. He told us that he used to hear kids' laughter in his sleep, and that he would wake up with small bruises and cuts, like if a little person was attacking him in his sleep. It came to a point that he became so terrified that he burnt the bones. How'd you burn the bones? That's a hot grill. He burnt the bones and was finally left alone. Whether it was real or just a story to spook us into respecting the dead, it remains one of the creepy stories that reinforce that it is wise to let those who pass rest in peace. That is pretty creepy. I've never heard of this. I guess you do see some kind of like voodoo people in movies and stuff. They have like human bones and stuff, but I've never heard of that it brings good luck. I wouldn't just have like a dude's bone in my house. That'd be crazy. That's just asking to get haunted, you know? It's like, hey, I took your leg, but I took your femur. Your femur's mine now. You can't have it. I'd be like, give me that shit back, bro. What are you doing? Oh, my femur's gonna bring you good luck? My femur's gonna bring you good luck? How about I kill your firstborn child? No, that's really dark. I didn't mean that. I'm gonna get so many hate comments because I said that shit. No, great story, Ava. Ava? I think it's Iva. Really good story. I've never heard this like wise tale, so that's new to me, so it's awesome. All right, so this next one comes from Charlie Asriel. This one's actually from the first one, but he wrote like a second part to it on the new one, so I had to go back to the first one to get it. So we're gonna read the first one. Ever since I was a child, I had a bit of a connection to the supernatural. I've been told stories about me dancing alone in graveyards when I was a toddler, and then thanking invisible people for dancing with me. What? You could go stay with them. Go stay with the ghosties. In my later adolescence, I would have vivid dreams of incredibly mundane things, and they would always come true. But the stories I'd like to share with you are about the only two apparitions that I can recall seeing. The first one I can recall, I saw when I was leaving my room. And for a brief moment, there was a dazzling white shape in front of me. It wasn't blinding, but it was bright. It was nebulous and imprecise, like their tangled tentacles of a jellyfish. It was also about the size of a young child, but it floated about eye level. And it was not out of the corner of my eyes, it was directly in front of me for a brief second before disappearing altogether. Not in a flash or a puff of smoke or with a loud noise, it just suddenly wasn't there. That's eerie. You just saw an angel, bud. That's an angel you just saw. The other one is more significant. I was passing by the door to the basement and I turned my head and looked down the stairs. There was something moving there. It was in the shape of a dog, gray emaciated and hairless, but a dog nonetheless. It was skulking through the dark awkwardly like a thing beaten into submission. I flicked on the light to get a better look at the thing and it disappeared instantly in the exact same way the white thing did. Now I should mention that my dad, who I lived with at the time, has dogs and has had them in the past as well, but none of them were ever allowed in the basement, and none were quite of that shape. My maternal grandmother, Amma, visited the house soon after the gray dog appeared. She was kept awake in the guest room by the sound of growling just outside her window. Growling that she described as something like of a dog, but lower and uglier. She had a friend of hers who claimed to be a light worker come take a look. The friend described it as something that feels very old, very angry, very hungry. I told her about the dog and she wasn't surprised since my paternal grandfather, who had a history of abusing animals, also lived in that house at one point. Oh, you saw a ghost dog. A demon dog. I talked with my Amma about the white thing and she said that she thought it was the spirit of my late mother. I don't know if it's her, but the thing didn't feel malevolent. Amma chuckled to herself, smiled in that knowing way that a grandmother does, and said, I know you see things before they happen. I had not shared the contents of my dreams with another living soul up to that point because I knew it sounded insane, but she knew. I don't know how, but she knew. Anyways, those are my stories and experience of the supernatural. I look forward to your next video, Mr. Kingnusmi. Oh, hope you feature my story. Yeah, you made it. You made it. That's really creepy. I have never seen like a ghost animal. There was that one clip. I'm gonna not make my editor go look for it. I'll just tell you. There was like one video I saw where it was like a cat, a white cat, the ghost of a white cat coming out of its like little enclosure thing. It was so cute. And I have two cats and I hope they stick around forever. I hope they never die. They're gonna live forever. I'm gonna pump them with immortal juice. Awesome, great story, Charlie. I really enjoyed that. Maybe one day I'll see a ghost dog, a demon. Actually, I don't want to see a hellhound. That sounds horrifying. Isn't it like if you see a hellhound, you're going to die soon or something like that? I don't know. I don't remember the folklore behind it. I need to go brush up on that crap. Okay, this next one is from Jonathan James Hills. It's a shorter one. I had a G1 Megatron toy that had lights and sounds. His sound effects would be activated with a red button. After a couple of months, my brother broke him. He breaks my stuff all the time. Same. So I put him in his box. A year later, I was watching Sam and Colby when I hear from my closet, Megatron attack, and I see you. I was confused at first, but then I remembered that I took out his batteries when he broke. And when I opened the closet and took him out, not only were the batteries gone, the fusion cannon, the thing that made the noise, was gone. And I still don't know what made that sound. Oh, we gotta love when toys make random noises on their own. It's always super freaky no matter what. We have these two animals named cats over here. Yeah, I just talked about them. They have a bunch of toys, of course, and some of them make noises, not all of them. We try not to get the ones that make noises too much. But there was one time we had one that was like a frog that croaked, and it had disappeared for a long time. And I was just like chilling upstairs. This is when we only had Ashy, which was our first cat. And he was asleep on my desk beside me, and the frog was downstairs, and it started croaking on its own. So of course I go look around. I'm like, where the fuck did this? He's asleep right here. He's not my cat. Where the hell is this frog? The frog was in the couch. It was under the couch inside of it. How did it get there and how did it make noises? It probably got there because of him. Why was it making noises on its own? Freaked me the hell out. But I did what any normal human would do. Turned around, walked upstairs and ignored it. Of course I did that. I'm not trying to see any ghosts today. No, it's a great story. We've all had something like that happen, right? Please tell me I'm not the only one. Some kind of toy or something just goes off in like a closet or whatever. This next one comes from Ernesto Bourbon. Ernesto, I like that name. It's so fun to say. So the story was told to me through my dad, but when they were kids living with their grandma, she was gifted a statue of Buddha. They were Catholic. And my great-grandma would put this statue in her room. One night, my aunt was having a nightmare, so she went into her grandmother's room. But when she entered the room, she saw this sort of dark creature leaning over my grandma. This freaked my aunt out. She got so scared that she ran back to her room. In the morning, they burned the Buddha statue along with another haunted doll. But the strange thing was that only half of the statue and the doll would burn. They had to burn them again to completely destroy them. That's a little weird. How did it burn halfway? Did it burn like halfway this way or halfway this way? You know what I mean? Not taking any of these seriously, I'm sorry. No, that's really freaky. But also, if she had a haunted doll, why not just get rid of the haunted doll first to see if that fixes it? I'd hate to open the door and see like some kind of like shadow dark figure leaning over my girlfriend one day. What am I supposed to do? Throw hands with it? I can't do that. You see me? My green screen's right here. Let me look at me. Am I tough? No, I'm not punching any ghost. No, it's a really, really creepy story. I love all these stories that I'm getting today of like them getting passed down through the family tree, you know? It's like, oh, this didn't happen to me, but it happened to my great-grandma. It's awesome. Who said storytelling is dead? It's very much alive. All right, this next one comes from Quigile 1949. They write, when I was a kid, I had a terrible fear of darkness. I still have it, but it's not as severe. I was walking around outside my backyard late at night, and I swear I saw the outline of a man walking around. I stared at it a little longer until I was positive that I saw someone. I sprinted back inside, and I saw someone sitting in a chair once I got back in the house. What? My heart jumped out of my chest, but the person in the chair turned out to be a sparring dummy with a ski mask on. Oh, okay. But I still wonder to this day if there was actually someone outside, or was it just my terrible fear of the darkness getting to me? Who knows? I hate those videos when you have like security cameras and then you spot somebody in your yard like late at night. It's happened to my friends. I think it's happened to two of my friends. So they have like security cameras around their house and they spotted like just a guy walking across their yard or something. Who are these woods people? Why are they in my yard? It's horrifying. It's horrifying to think about. And they can just simply try and break in. You never know. I think something like that happened to my sister one time, except for the dude tried to get into the house. But it was like a newer house. We were still kind of moving into it. But she was home alone. I was at a friend's house. And I think my little brother was also at a friend's house. And my mom was at work. And there was this guy that just kept walking across the backyard. And then after like a little while, you know, he just tried pulling on the back door handle, but it was locked, thank God. But Mallory was home alone and she was freaked out and I had to come home from my friend's house so she would have somebody else there. But after that, something like that happens to your house, you don't feel safe there for a little while because you're like, what if that guy just comes back and I accidentally forget to lock the door, you know? Great story. Very relatable story that time. I love the chair, the sparring dummy in a chair. We all have the chair. Everybody knows about the chair. You have like clothes stacked up and it looks like a human sometimes. I believe this is the last one. It's kind of a longish one and it's from Koku Cosplays, another longtime fan. Me and my friends do urban exploring. It was one day when he picked me up and we drove to a big abandoned house. This was at night around 11 a.m. I think you mean PM, buddy, PM. We grabbed our flashlights and equipment and started walking towards the house. Once we found an entrance inside, we began exploring the big house. Nothing too scary happened until I heard my friend calling me in another room. So I quickly walked over towards him and asked, "Hey, what's up?" And he replied, "I didn't say anything." Uh-oh. I thought it was just my mind since this is a creepy house. And after a while of exploring, we heard lots of creaking around the house, but knowing it's an old house, we really didn't think much of it until we found another room with 7 teddy bears lying around. We made jokes and all until we heard someone walking through the house on up the stairs. We quickly opened a window, jumped out, hoping they didn't hear us, and when we tried to make our way to the car, we looked over and we saw 3 hooded people almost walking towards us from what I saw. We quickly ran to the car, not looking back, and sped off. I do not blame you. That's creepy as hell. That's like horror game shit. Urban exploring is very dangerous, by the way. I don't want to like promote urban exploring because it is quite dangerous if you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Because you might think this house is abandoned, but you can find squatters and there might be homeless people in there. And sometimes to them, that is their home and they're going to protect it because they feel the right to. But I think these two probably just stumbled across like a murder house or something. Maybe. A sacrifice house, maybe. Just make sure you like bring a weapon of some kind. If you're going to do urban exploring, you never know what's going to happen. I had a friend who would bring a machete. It was crazy. It'd be on his side. But no, that's insane. That's insane. I've had a similar experience. Luckily, the guy was nice. One time we were exploring this giant hospital that's near us. A giant abandoned hospital. It's kind of, even in the middle of the day, these abandoned places are like pitch black, even inside. And so you're just exploring it, looking around with your flashlight or whatever. And I turned the corner and then there was like a man just standing there with a shopping cart. He's homeless, okay? He's just staying there. But I turned and then I jumped and screamed because he was just right there. Luckily, all he said was, "Hey, what's up, man?" Scared the shit out of me, dude. And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "Hey." He's like, "Hey, be careful." So at least I had like a nice experience. But actually in that same hospital thing, we were exploring, it was really tall. There was 4 separate buildings, which was insane. It was the coolest place to go explore. There's 4 separate buildings and one of them had 17 floors. And me and my buds were just going up the stairs slowly, looking at like every floor pretty much. We were about 13 out of 17 floors kind of ish. We were kind of close to the top. And we were just standing there talking, and then I could hear somebody walking upstairs. And so they were just like talking, having fun, goofing off. And then I was like, "Hey, be quiet." And then the footsteps happened a little bit longer, and then they stopped. And then I was like, "Did you guys hear that?" And they were like, "Yeah." And so I was like, "Hold on." And so we were just walking around, a little bit, and then the walking started again. And then we stopped, and then it went on for like another 2 steps, and then it stopped. And then we sprinted down the stairs. One of my friends was goofing off. He had like big boots on, so he was like clapping his boots, trying to be funny. But as he was clapping his boots, they stopped for a second, and then a door slammed open, and then we all ran. Did not go back. We went to our cars, went home. Did not go back. That was a fun but scary experience. It was crazy. If it was like me by myself and that happened, I would be shitting myself. But since I had my friends with me, it was kind of fun. But now, a creepy story. Like I said earlier, people are scarier than anything paranormal. You never know what people can do. There's some people out there that are very crazy. They're crazy, okay? Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sending in some more stories. And like I said, if your story didn't make it in this, I'm sorry. I can only do a few at a time, But maybe I can do like a live stream where I go through and read more of them. That might be a little fun. Let me know if you want to see that in the comments below. If your story didn't make it into this one, it's okay. I'll probably put a post up here soon asking for some more paranormal stories. And you can just copy and paste it there or tell me a completely new one if you want to. I have a Patreon. The $5 members get bonus content plus videos a day early, maybe some pictures of my cats, a Discord server, and your name right here on screen. Like the video if you like the video. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you all, and peace.